Hello, boys and girls. I am so glad to be here with you today. This is new to me, so I'm trying to get this started where you can see what I see, and I'm having some issues here, but I finally got it. Yay! Yay me. Okay, so this we're going to be doing lesson 17. This is a review lesson. We've already done lots of measurement in the past. Ms. Knowlton did lesson 16, but we want to stick with the things that are in our packet. So when you went and picked up your packet, or your parents ran it off for you, or you're just using the computer, which is great, you can get to these pages that I'm showing you on here. Our standard today is measure the length of objects by selecting and using appropriate tools such as ruler, yardstick, meter stick, and measuring tapes. Also, our objective is we're going to be comparing standard measurement. If you remember, standard measurement is when we use rulers, yardsticks, meter sticks, and the measuring tapes. Non-standard is when we use, remember, our little centimeter tiles that were in that school, that were little squares and they were different colors. And then we use the little tiny centimeter cubes. I'm sure you all remember because we use them a whole lot. But also, remember when I told you when we use centimeters, we think of our pinky finger and the fingernail part of your pinky finger. Also, inch is when you use your thumb, and the little line right here on your thumb, that's just a quick little benchmark. Remember, we called these benchmarks, and benchmark on how big some things are. All right, so let's go to the next one. This is just a repeat of non-standard and standard measurement. A ruler, rulers, I have one here. Luckily, I can't get into my classroom, so I have to use things that I have around the house. Just like you can't get into our classroom, you're going to have to use things around your house too. This is a ruler. It's got centimeters and inches. I'm looking right now at the centimeter side. So usually, if you look at the at the inch side, you have 12 inches right here, and that's also a foot. So 12 inches equal a foot, and also if you're on the centimeter side, that would be 30 centimeters. A meter stick, which I do not have one right now. I have one around here in the house somewhere. I'm just not sure where it is. It is an extremely long one of these, and it's just like this, except it's a lot longer. And it measures 100 centimeters. So if this one is 30, then it would be a bunch more of these, almost four of these, to get um, to for a yardstick and for a meter stick. Meter sticks are for centimeters. Yardsticks are for inches. Then we have the tape measure right here. Now our tape measures, you remember the little things that we had that we pulled out, we pushed a button and they flung back together? Well, those are the tape measures. They measure both inches and centimeters, and we use those to measure very big spaces. Mom and Dad may use them for a rug in the house. Maybe they want to measure curtains, and they need something that is longer than just a yardstick. And don't forget, now this is the biggie, remember, and I know you guys remember. Let's see if I can draw on this. That would be kind of cool. Let's do red. Don't forget, when measuring, we have to start at what number? And my little face is right here in the way, so you can't see. But you have to start at 0, and that is for inches or centimeters. You have to be sure that you look at the 0. Let's see. Let me put it up here. The 0 on both sides. You can't start at the end of the ruler. You have to start at 0. And it's tricky sometimes, because sometimes rulers will start at the end and it will say 0, and that will be the end. But in this case, see how it's moved over some and it starts at 0. So you always, that's one of the most important things, is you have to start at 0. Now on this page it says measurement, non-standard or standard tools. So you're going to pick like this one. So this one, they used paper clips to measure this pencil. So that would be what? Non-standard. That would be a non-standard way of measuring. This one right here, and I'm not able to ask you questions and you respond to me, so I'm just going to respond and just give you a second to respond, and then I'll come back and tell you the answer. This right here is just a ruler, and a ruler, is that non-standard or standard? Well, that would be standard. This right here is a yardstick or a meter stick. This is what kind of tool? Is it non-standard or standard? Well, this one would be standard. And here is our famous, now this is a little bit bigger than the one that we used in our room when we were doing measurement. This is a tape measure, and it is what kind of measurement? Is it non-standard or standard? That would be standard. All right, so there's only one non-standard, and that's this one, and that's because they used paper clips. All right, which would you use to measure a ruler or yardstick? So if you were going to go outside and you were going to measure a truck, would you use a ruler or would you use a really long yardstick? Well, you'd use the really long yardstick. So let's look at the pen. What would we use to measure the pen? Would we use a ruler or would we use a yardstick? Well, if you're just using a pen, it's really small, so it would be what? A ruler. What about a door? A door. Now, even though we could use the ruler, the best way to measure it would be something that is bigger because a door is so big, we would use the yardstick for the door. Over here, the glue. Now, glue is really small. It's almost like the pen is. So you would use the ruler for the glue. What about a big tree now? Not the tree that's here. Obviously, it's small, but I'm talking about a real tree. What would you use to measure a real tree? The ruler or the yardstick? Well, we would do better using a yardstick because it's a bigger form of measurement. It's a bigger unit of measurement. And what about a book? Well, a book is not real big. It's fairly small. You could compare it to your pen and your glue. And we would use what? It would be a ruler, would be the best form of measurement there. All right, so let's look. These are just a couple quick questions. And I wanted you to think about them, and I'll answer them, but I want you to think about it as we go through it. Which is a smaller unit of measurement, the centimeter or an inch? So this right here is 1 inch, I would say. This is a bottle, like from a Coke can. I got this, and it's right on there. It's very, very close to 1 inch. It's a little off, but and I've noticed that they're different sizes, but the one that I have is about an inch. And then you can use your pinky finger for the centimeters, or I was also thinking maybe a dime is pretty close to that as well. Anyway, just a couple little examples. So which would be a smaller unit? Which one's smaller? The inch, which is from here to here, or your thumb to there? Or would it be the centimeter from 0 to 1, or your pinky fingernail? Well, it would be, dun, 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 centimeters is the smaller unit. It's smaller. It's not as big. Right? Which one has the largest number when measuring? So let's say that I'm measuring a pencil and I measure 12 centimeters when I do centimeters, and then the same length, I come over here and I measure it with inches. Which one would have the larger number? Think about that for a second. Well, it would be centimeters as well, because centimeters is a smaller unit. It's going to have more, it takes more of them. It would take more dimes than it would these little Coke can puller things. It would take more of these, so that's why the number is larger. That's misleading, and I know that's kind of hard to remember and it gets confusing, but you just got to think that it's a smaller unit of measurement, therefore the number is going to be a larger number. All right, and then I just answered why. Why is the unit, why is the centimeters has Why do they have a larger number? Because they're a smaller unit of measurement. You guys remember this? I remember this so well. And then down here, I put, can you give more examples of non-standard measurements? You can give me some examples. Maybe you can find something around your house that you can use to measure inches that measures just an inch. And this is just in case you can't find it, you don't have a ruler at home. You can look at these things. Centimeter, my little face is cut off here. But as you can see, centimeters here, you can find things around your house. I just left that open, and maybe when you give me feedback on my video, you can tell me what you used as inches and what types of things you used as centimeters when you measured using non-standard measurements. All right, I'm just going to go over a couple of these because I thought that they were really important for you to see. And I had to take a picture of it so the words are really, they kind of look like they're stretched. But that's just because it's my sheet. Now, your sheet is going to look just like mine. And it says, what is the length of this eraser? So here's an eraser right here, and there's an eraser right here. There's two of them, and they're the same. And well, actually, this is the eraser. I'm looking at something different. This is the eraser, and these are the inch tiles, and then this is the ruler. So this is non-standard, and this is standard. Non-standard and standard unit of measurement. So the inch tiles, it took two of those. So that would be 2 inches. And here it took 2 inches. So the length of the eraser is 2 inches. So let's look at this one. Hugo measures this paintbrush using 1-inch tiles. How many tiles are there? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you would say 5 inches, right? All right, so here we don't have to start at 0 or anything because they do it. You do it with the tiles, and you know to start at the very end, and it goes from the end here to the tip over here. So let's look at the one that you have. This is a pen, and they're using a standard unit, which is the ruler, and it says, what is the length of the paintbrush? And I believe it says Zion measured this marker using a 1-inch ruler. How long is the ruler? Now notice they started at 0, so we're okay because we started at 0. So that's just awesome that we started at 0. All right, and we go to 4. So here it would be 4 inches. All right, so Lucy measured this glue stick using 1 centimeter tiles. How long is the glue stick? So here's a glue stick. These are centimeter tiles. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 centimeters there. Here, Ray measured this pencil using a centimeter ruler. What's the length of this pencil? So you guys look at this pencil. It starts at 0, so we're good. And you tell me what that is. I'll give you a second, then I'll tell you. Okay, so if it starts at 0 and it goes all the way, you're at 12. So this would be 12 centimeters. 12 centimeters. Easy peasy, right? Easy, easy. Eva measures this ribbon using a centimeter ruler. What did she do wrong? Okay, so once you look at it, and you can't see, I can't go over here, but look at where it starts. So something's wrong. What did she do wrong? I'll give you a second. Okay, you should have said that she did not start at 0. That was very important. You see over here, start at 0. Over here, they started at 1, so we're off 1. So this would actually be 8 centimeters because we have to subtract 1 because they started at 1, and we should have started at 0. All right, so this one right here is the same things that we've been doing. I'm going to let you work on this page by yourself some, and I'm going to skip around and go to this. This is where we were adding. If you remember correctly, way back when we did some adding when we did measurement. We did module 1 where we did addition, subtracting, and then when we got into module 2, we started doing, we talked about inches and centimeters, and we also discussed how to do when we have to add two things together. So here, and it shows you, if you look at the magnifying glass, it shows you they did 30. Okay, so here's the rope here. Okay, so well, actually it's yarn. It says use a ruler. The yarn is longer than a ruler. Mark where the ruler ends, then move the ruler so that 0 is at your mark. So what they did is they measured this and they stopped at 30. Okay, so there's your 30, and then they ran out of space, so they have to use another ruler. So they used another ruler and they started it at 0 and it went to 30. So they measured 30 centimeters plus 30 centimeters equals 60 centimeters. And then here the piece of yarn is 60 centimeters long, and then here they got out the meter stick and they used it, and it sure enough measured right at 60. So this is the next one. They did rope again. They have 30 centimeters. They stopped there, and then they measure to right here on the second one, which is, it looks like this is, let's see if I can draw around. Oh, I can. How cool is that? Um, then here we have 14. So 30 plus 30 centimeters plus what equals what? So this is going to be really hard for me to write, and I'm not going to be able to write very well. I have a dry erase board. When I start doing other lessons, I'll use it. Ooh, I'm a horrible writer. Y'all always think this is so funny. I'm sure you're laughing at me right now as I'm doing this. Okay, so let's draw our line and let's add these two together. No. So 0 plus 4 is 4. Ooh. And 3, that crazy looking 3, maybe that helps. 3 plus 1 is 4. So now we have 30 centimeters. Let me put 14 in there. And then, equals 44. There we go. You could have done 2 where we match the matching way too. 1s to 1s and 10s to 10s, and then bring them over. There you go. All right, well, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to ask you. The pages that I'm not going to go over, this is another one. You can try it on your own. This one is circle the objects that are easier to measure with a centimeter, or would you rather use a meter stick? So these are just things that you can, you're going to circle the ones that you're going to use with centimeters, and you're going to underline the ones that you would use with a meter stick. Remember, the meter sticks is the bigger one. The smaller one is the ruler that you measure centimeters and inches with, that you have to turn it. All right, so this is just kind of a guess. Let's look at this one. It says, what is the length of the crayon? Circle the correct answer. Glenn chose A. This is wrong. How did Glenn get his answer? You can look at that and try to figure it out there. And all these, we have done very many of these together, so I'm sure you guys will be fine. If there's any questions, you can also try to text me, and you can practice. You can practice with objects in your house, any objects that you want to practice with. And boys and girls, I miss y'all so much. I wish we were in school together. That way I could hear your little voices talking back to me. I don't like videoing. I don't like seeing my little faces. But I just want you guys to know that I miss you very much, and you guys take care. Bye-bye.